Big Tractor Power is out in a western Kentucky cornfield with a pair of John Deere S770 combines. These big Class 7 machines are brand new combines for model year 2018 from John Deere. We're going to climb up in the cab of one of these combines and see the operator's perspective of running one of these harvesting machines and look at all the technology and the automation that is used to operate a John Deere S770 combine. We'll also take a look at the new John Deere 712FC corn head. FC stands for folding corn head. These corn heads will fold up from 30 feet of harvesting width to a narrow 15 feet for transport. I hope that you'll enjoy learning about these machines and seeing them at work out in the field. The John Deere S770 combine is a new Class 7 machine introduced for model year 2018. It replaces the John Deere S670 Class 7 combine introduced in model year 2012 and produced through 2017. One of the key factors in determining the class size of a combine is the size of the engine and its horsepower rating. The John Deere S770 has a John Deere 9.0 liter engine and is rated at 373 horsepower. Larger John Deere combines in the Class 8 and Class 9 segment are powered by John Deere 13.5 liter engines, and the Class 8 combine, the S780, is rated at 473 horsepower, and the Class 9 John Deere S790 combine is rated at 543 horsepower. Another factor in determining the classification of a combine is its grain tank size and unloading rate. The John Deere S770 combine in the Class 7 ranking has a 300 bushel grain tank and can unload grain from that tank at 3.3 bushels per second. The larger Class 8 and Class 9 John Deere combines have 400 bushel grain tanks and can unload grain at 3.8 bushels per second. But the number one determining factor in the ranking system to classify a combine is the engine horsepower, because the horsepower rating determines how fast the combine can thresh the grain and how fast it can unload the grain from the grain tank. Now that we've talked a little bit about the John Deere S770 combine specifications, let's take a look at the 12-row folding corn heads that are mounted on the front of these combines. The John Deere FC corn heads offer a great advantage in being able to transport the combine from one field to the other without removing the corn head. When the field is completed, the head can fold up and move on to the next operation. John Deere first introduced the FC series of corn heads for model year 2016 with the John Deere 612FC. Here you can see it only takes a matter of seconds, about 54 seconds, to go from a 12-row, 30-foot wide corn head in the field to a narrow 6-row size, 15-foot wide header to move down the road. Folding up to a narrow 15 feet wide is very handy, and it saves a lot of time. When you can move from 30 feet to 15 feet in 54 seconds, that saves time. Typically, a standard John Deere corn head does not fold and has to be mounted on a header trailer and pulled by a pickup truck or a combine down the road. And it takes a few minutes to unhook all of the hydraulic lines and PTO shafts to remove the corn head from the combine and then strap it down to the header trailer. So having the John Deere FC folding corn head saves a lot of time in transport and keeps the harvest rolling along at a steady pace. Here we can see the operator's perspective of a previous model John Deere 612FC corn head folding up from 30 to 15 feet. You can see there's still very good visibility even though you have a compact folded corn head on the front of the combine. Being able to fold up like this and move saves time. You also don't have to coordinate having another driver for the truck and another piece of equipment with the header wagon to move the corn head down the road. Once the header is completely folded up, the operator can lift it up and move out and go down the road, and as soon as they arrive at the next field, they simply unfold and begin harvesting, again avoiding the coordination of having to find a place to park a truck and a header wagon, maybe backing the combine over some standing crop to hook onto that header, and then begin the harvest operation. Big Tractor Power is up in the cab of a John Deere S770 combine. It's running a 12-row John Deere 712FC folding corn head, and we can get the operator's perspective here, harvesting the corn. You can see the row unit sliding through here, and it takes the ears of corn off. You can see the yellow cobs running through there, and it is run through a rotor inside this combine that separates the grain from the cob. And we can look through the back window here and see the shelled corn pouring out there in this combine's grain bin. As the corn comes in, these new 2018 models like the S770, they have a feature where on the screen the operator can actually see the corn running through the machine. Here we can see the corn coming up the clean elevator, and that allows them to monitor. And this is a self-automated combine, so if there's an adjustment to be made in the crop, if the conditions get heavy or light, the combine can auto-adjust to correct for that as it's harvesting out here in the field. Another new feature on the S700 series combine is the controls. This is very similar to your 8R and 9R John Deere tractors. All the controls are handled right here with the operator's hand and thumb. It's just like a joystick on a video game. It controls every function of this machine as it works out here in the field harvesting the corn crop. The John Deere S770 combine has a 300 bushel grain bin. When the grain bin is completely filled with corn, it's time to unload. This farm unloads on the go using a grain cart. We can see the 26-foot unloading auger swing out into position to begin unloading the corn. This auger can unload 3.3 bushels of corn per second. The farm is using a Kinsey 1500 grain cart. This grain cart will hold 1,500 bushels of corn, and that allows the two John Deere S770 combines to unload 5 times into this cart before it needs to head back to the waiting semi-trucks to unload the corn and send it on to the grain bin. Now that we've spent some time up in the cab to see the operator's perspective of running a John Deere S770 combine, let's head out to the ground and watch these two Class 7 machines harvesting corn so that you can see and hear them in operation. You might have noticed that there is some corn piled up on the roof of one of these John Deere S770 combines, and that is often nicknamed cab corn. What happens is, as the grain bin fills up with corn and the combine hits a bump, sometimes the corn will spill out. These combines are harvesting in a field on some river bottoms that are very flat, and in order to drain the water off of these fields, if you have a heavy rain, it will just sit there, so they have to dig trenches across the field to allow that water to flow to a lower point and flow out to a larger drainage ditch. When those combines hit that little drainage ditch, they bump, and sometimes if the corn is really piled up, it's going to spill out. Farmers like to avoid this at all costs, but in the harvesting condition here, where you have these small drainage ditches across the field, the combine's going to hit that, and sometimes the corn spills out. It's not a big deal. When the field is completed, the farmer will get up on the roof of the combine with a scoop shovel and just shovel that excess corn off the roof back into the bin, and it'll be unloaded into a truck and head back to the grain bin as if it was harvested and loaded on the grain cart the regular way. As we watch the John Deere S770 combines work their way back and forth across the field, we can get a close-up look at that John Deere 712FC corn head. The 700 series corn heads were introduced in conjunction with the S700 combines for model year 2018. The 700 series corn head replaces the 600C corn heads that were introduced back in 2012 with the John Deere S600 combines. In addition to the decal update from 700 to 600 on the side of the header, there's a new feature called Romax, and Romax delivers up to a 50% increase in wear life of the row unit gathering chains and sprockets. The stock roll wear life increases to 25% with the new wear coating on the 700C headers. Romax is available as an update kit for the 600C and FC corn heads. I sped this segment of the video up because it took about 5 minutes in running length, but I wanted to show you something that was really exciting to see. This was the last pass of the 2018 corn harvest for this farm, and we got to see the two combines pull up side by side as they pick the last ears of corn and fold the headers up. It's been a long harvest season in western Kentucky. It started back in August and wrapped up just before Thanksgiving. There was a lot of rain this fall that delayed the harvest, and the combines on this day were racing another bout of rain with mist and fog already moving in. So it was a good feeling to get those last kernels of corn in the grain tank and get ready to head back to the farm and wash the combines up and put them away for the winter. The S770s were harvesting in a large field on the river flats along the Green River in western Kentucky, and I got a chance to ride back in the cab of one of the combines because it would have been a long walk from where they were harvesting back to where the trucks were being filled. But it was a good chance to see the advantage of that 712FC corn head one more time folded up. You can see they're driving through one of the large drainage ditches that pulls water off the field from the small trenches that are made through the field after it's planted and drain into these large ditches. But it's nice to have that 15-foot wide head as it dips down through the big ditch and over, and not having that full 30 feet spread out and possibly scraping through the dirt as they move out of the field. With the cornfield being completely harvested, the end of the 2018 corn harvest has arrived, and we can see the S770 combines pull up to that big 1,500 bushel Kinsey 1,500 cart to unload the last kernels of corn of the harvest season. Pulling this big 1,500 bushel cart is a John Deere 9470 RX track tractor. It's rated at 470 horsepower, and Big Tractor Power YouTube will have a separate video looking at the 9RX tractor and the big Kinsey cart. I hope that you've enjoyed seeing these big Class 7 John Deere combines. It's always exciting to see machines like the S770 combine harvesting corn and seeing big 12-row corn heads that can harvest 30 feet and then fold up to a narrow transport position of 15 feet to move on to the next field, like the John Deere 712FC corn head. If you'd like to see more videos like this one, consider subscribing to Big Tractor Power YouTube, where there are over 1,000 videos of farm machines in action. If you're already a subscriber, thank you, and make sure to check the Big Tractor Power YouTube homepage often, as new videos are posted every 2 to 3 days. If you have any questions or comments about the video, please post them in the comments section below, as I try to respond to every post that is made. If you would like to get a preview of what is currently being filmed for Big Tractor Power YouTube, make sure to check out Big Tractor Power Instagram, where I share pictures and short video clips of what is currently being filmed in the field. As always, thank you for watching.